The following video is sponsored by vend-co.com.
Good day, everybody. Today I'm going to be showing you how to play Monopoly Go Green. The object of the game is to be the last player standing or to have the most amount of money by the time the last property is quote-unquote greened up. So I'll go ahead and show you the components. We have here your Monopoly board, and this is going to have 16 properties on it. Each set is going to have 2. You've got the wooden dice over here, which are really nice. You also have greenhouses that you're going to be able to use to increase the value of your property. And you also have your property cards. And you're going to be getting these anytime you purchase one of these properties or trade or whatever. And there's 2 sides to these. You have the regular side, and then you have the greened up side. I'm going to talk a little bit about how that works here in just a little bit. You also have 2 utility cards. You've got the wind farm and the solar field. Along with this, you have 6 pieces that you'll be able to choose from, and these are made out of a plant-based plastic. We got the dog, we have the rubber duck, we have the dinosaur, we got the hat, we have the penguin, and then we have the cat. And in the beginning of the game, you will go ahead and place a piece on the go space and go from there. Along with this, we have chance and community chess cards, and these are going to be synonymous with the different spaces here on the board. And every time you land on one of those spaces, you're simply going to go ahead and draw a card and just simply do what it says. I'll show you a few of these. This is the get out of jail free card. This one says you thought your smoothie straw was edible. It wasn't. Pay $50. With your new hybrid solar oven, you can bake chocolate chip cookies at the beach, collect $100. So this is very green themed. And these cards and all the cards are made out of recycled paper along with the board. You also have money over here, and this goes for $1 to $500 bills. In the very beginning, everybody is going to be receiving $1,500. So some of the spaces on the board, we've got the property sets over here, the chance space, the community chess space. Of course, the go space, as you pass go, you will collect $200. You also have the bike path. If you land on this, you can spend $10 and you can move your token to any space before the next bike space. Now, if you happen to do it over here and bike from here to here, you're not going to collect $200. Of course, you have the just visiting space and the jail space. If you land on free parking, nothing is going to happen. Land on the go to jail space, you will go to jail. If you want to get out of jail, you'll have a few options. You can pay $50, roll the die and get out of jail that way. You can try to roll doubles on your next 3 turns. If you do, you'll get out that way and move the amount that you rolled. Or you can use a get out of jail free card, which can be found in here or here. So on your turn, you'll go ahead and roll the die. If you roll doubles, you'll go ahead and roll again, but you got to be careful because if you roll doubles 3 times in a row, you're going to end up going to jail. And let's say on the cat, I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have landed on Vermont Avenue. So if I want to, I can go ahead and purchase Vermont Avenue for the price that is indicated right here. And all of the properties are going to have these. And let's say I decide to go ahead and buy it. I'll go ahead and pick up Vermont Avenue, and then I'll place it in front of me like so. Now, if I want to, anytime during the game, I can pay this amount of rent over here and do what's called green up the property. If I decide to do that, I will go ahead and flip it over, and you'll note that the rent has doubled. And there's also rent with greenhouse as well, and you'll be able to buy greenhouses in this game to up the rent value even more. Now, in order to buy a greenhouse, you're going to have to own both of the properties that are in the color set. Now, along with paying the rent fee to green up, there's also another couple of ways you can green up. If the cat were to land, in this case, Vermont Avenue again, a second time, I would be able to green up the property for free. Also, if I ended up later getting Connecticut Avenue and bought it and get a complete monopoly, I would also automatically green up any properties that were not already greened up in the set. Whenever I get a monopoly, I will be able to purchase a greenhouse. So in order to do that, I will go ahead and pick one of the properties to buy the greenhouse on. In this case, it would cost $220. So I pay the $220 and then I would purchase the greenhouse. Now, the interesting thing is that you're only going to be able to use a greenhouse on one of the properties in the set. You're not going to be able to buy greenhouses for both. So I will go ahead and just place it on Vermont in this case, and that would be all I could do for these 2 properties. Now, if I didn't want to buy the property, I could auction it off. The bidding would start at $10, and everybody could bid up in increments of $1 or more, and whoever ended up bidding the most would win the property. They would just simply pay the bank, and then go ahead and take the property. If it turns out nobody wants the property, it's just going to stay in the bank. Now, if I own a property and somebody happens to land on that property, they're going to go ahead and owe me rent. So there's two types of rent. If it's just the regular type of rent, they're just simply going to pay me what is on this side, in this case $50. If this property was greened up, they would go ahead and pay me this amount, which is going to be, in this case, $100. And if it turned out they landed on a property that had the greenhouse, they would go ahead and pay me what is listed over here. In this case, it is $200. Now, there's only a certain amount of greenhouses in the game, so if it gets down to where there's only one greenhouse left and multiple players want it, they're going to have to bid on it. And bidding, again, will start at $10 and can increase in $1 or higher. And again, whoever gets the most, bids the most amount of money, is going to be able to get the greenhouse. Now, the utilities work a little differently. If someone lands on a utility that you own, they'll pay you 10 times the amount that is shown on the dice. If it turns out the player owns both of them, they're going to pay them 20 times the amount shown on the dice. Also in this game, you can do deals and trades. You can buy, sell, swap property with other players. And anytime you trade a property that has a greenhouse, the greenhouse is going to stay where it is. You can trade properties for cash, other properties, get out of jail free cards, etc. If it turns out you land on a property and you're not able to afford to pay the rent, or you get charged because of the cards, there's a few things you can do. You can try to raise money by selling your properties. You'll sell the properties back to the bank for face value, or you could just sell it to another player. If it turns out you have a property that has a greenhouse on it, you can sell it to the bank for the cost of that property's rent with one greenhouse. So if I wanted to sell Vermont, it would cost, I could get $200 back for it. If it turns out that after I've sold the properties, I still don't have enough money, I'm going to be bankrupt and be out of the game. Now, the game is going to end when all the properties have been greened up and each player has made it back to the go space. Or if everybody else has gone bankrupt and there's one player left. So once that happens, everybody is going to go ahead and collect $200. And then they're also going to collect rent from the bank for each of the properties that they have. Then after that, you'll count up your cash, and whoever has the most cash is going to win the game. And if there is a tie, the player with the most money and the most green properties is going to win. And that, folks, is Monopoly Go Green.
Need extra income? Check out this opportunity. You can invest in a vending machine from ben-co.com, and they will place it in a business or office for you. You keep all the money that the machine makes. For more information, check out the link in the description.
One of the properties in the set.